I'm a teenager and I go to the same school, same bus route every day, the same teachers, same classes. I do some homework. I watch some TV at night, maybe have a sports practice, text some friends, and go to bed. I'm an adult and I live in the same house day after day, the same spouse, the same kitchen, the same everything, the same children. I run out the door to work, go to the same office, the same people, the same boss. I come home, take the kids to practice, try to fix dinner, watch some TV, go to bed. I'm a priest at the same places, the same routine, emails, daily mass, sick calls, the poor at the food pantry, mass every Tuesday at the hospital, adoration, hear confessions in the same confessional, the same office. In the midst of the repetitious cycle of our lives, the things that seem to just be happening the same thing day after day, over and over again, fighting against the temptation to just say the same thing is always happening, it's just another day. In the midst of that, we have the first reading, and we hear something from the prophet Isaiah, which I think is really important for us to hear. He says, in the place of God, "See, I am doing something new!" Exclamation point. Do you not perceive it? Question mark. See, I am doing something new. Why does he need to tell people that? Why does he need to command? Why does God command/invite us to see this? Because it's hard. The average person doesn't do it. That's why God has to command us to do it. He invites us to say and to look around us and to see the things that are happening that are new. Why? Because it breaks us out of the temptation to think that nothing new is happening, that it's the same old stuff every day, day in and day out. He's saying it because it's not easy to break through that mindset that this is just another day, another Saturday afternoon, right? It's not an easy thing to break through, and I realize that one sermon isn't probably also going to necessarily do it. A priest standing in front of you and pointing this out doesn't instantly tell you and cause you to switch and suddenly proclaim, "I get it now. I do see. We are here in the midst of something new," right? It's a process, and it's a hard thing, and it takes God coming and shaking us out of the belief that we're in some kind of routine, right? People aren't going to say, I was in a rut, but Father preached that one sermon, and now it all clicks most of the time. We have this beautiful psalm along these same lines. The Lord has done great things for us. The Lord has done great things for us. Do we see that? Again, we need to realize that it's really hard if we're going to break out of the cycle to just say, I'm one of those people that just sees every day as the same, or I start to see the repetition, and I don't get why I'm stuck in there. You have to recognize and realize and believe it's hard. It's a real challenge. It comes with our human condition. It's hard to see sometimes, and we need to admit that. We need to admit that it's hard breaking out of the routine of life and seeing with real eyes of faith what is happening that is new. It's hard. We have to admit that first and stop telling ourselves, I don't know why I can't do this on my own. I can't break out of this habit of seeing everything the same. And I think it's also then looking at the gospel, we get a great insight into this, though. We realize a truth of our faith. In the gospel today, Christ bends down and joins in the dirt the woman. Right? He doesn't talk to her from above. He doesn't yell down to her, why are you struggling? He comes down to her in the dirt, right? And the dirt's, I think, that's what it's like sometimes if your face is just in the dirt. That's what this starting to see every day the same and not seeing anything happening, not seeing God active in our daily routines, it's like looking in the dirt, with our face down in the dirt. Right? And it's just the same, and it seems lifeless. It seems like a desert, and our face is down in it, like the woman in today's gospel. We might be frustrated like her by our sins, frustrated that we can't seem to break free of our sinful habits, the way that we look at the world as just this boring kind of place where everything's always the same. People might say, gosh, I just keep confessing the same thing. I go to confession every time, and it's always the same stuff. But Jesus in the gospel, he joins her and he joins us on our level. He comes down, right, to us and asks us questions like he asks the woman in the dirt questions. He doesn't, say, just instantly teach and tell her, this is the key to life, so get up and get out of here and move on. He comes down gently. As he comes down, I think, to us, right? He comes down to us in the midst of our lives, in the midst of our routine, and he starts asking us questions. Do you see the new things? Right? Do you see the new things that God is doing in your life? Right? Christ, I think, is there asking us those kinds of things. If we're stuck, if we feel frustrated, Christ is there and he bends down to us. He comes down to the dirt of our humanity, to the dirt of our routine, the dirt of our everyday lives. Not to condemn, but to try to get us to lift our eyes up higher. To try and get us to see new things, to see the things that are happening. It's just that we don't see them. Christ just says, I want you to see them. Recognize the new things that are happening, the lives that are being transformed, right? The people who you are impacting in your life, right? The good deeds that other people are doing for you and that you're doing for others, and the transformation and conversion that's happening in people's lives around us and around the world, right? Seeing these things. Christ is inviting us to see them, and he comes down to us and asks us to look up and see with new eyes what's already taking place. To rejoice in the good things that God is doing for us. So let us help each other do that. Let us be people who help one another recognize the miraculous things that are taking place in each other's lives, to affirm those things, to thank each other for the things that are happening, the new things, the things that are happening that are wakening us up, the things that we see that maybe they don't see. And then let us stand up together like the woman in the gospel today. Let us stand up with the grace of God and recognize and see all around us the things that are happening and stop just focusing on the dirt.